Imagine you arrive at an airport in a foreign country and you're on your vacation. You're all excited and you're walking up to the customs desk there and they ask for your passport and your visa. And you go, visa? Because you didn't realize you needed one beforehand. Or maybe you get into your taxi, you made it past the customs, and you're going to your hotel and you've been driving for a little while and you say, man, I wonder how far away the hotel is from the airport. There's a lot of uncertainties when you travel internationally. It can be a lot of fun, it can be an adventure, but at the same time, there's a lot of difficulties that you can run into, whether it be currency, languages, or just cultural differences. So a lot of pre-planning can go a long way. So I'm going to talk to you today about the 3 things that I do when I go on international travel. I encourage you to do the same. So the first is map it out. And I mean both schedule-wise and location-wise. So one of the things I like to do is find yourself a whiteboard, a large whiteboard, or a big calendar, or just a blank wall where you can put some stickies up and basically put the calendar days down that you're going to be there, because it helps to me it helps when you can visualize, okay, here are the days that I'm going to be traveling. You can say this is a travel day, this is a travel day, and then in between, okay, maybe I'll be in this city for a few days and then in this city for a few days, depending on how packed your itinerary is. But it just gives you a better sense of what sort of time you have. You might look at it and say, oh man, I was planning on doing something here, here, and here. That seems like it's going to be really busy. Maybe I should put a blank day in there for just kind of rest and exploring, or vice versa. Maybe you don't have enough and you want to put more stuff in there. So to me, it helps to map it out, your schedule out. And then similarly, it helps to map out, obviously, goes without saying, but your location. Get a feel for not just the country, but the cities that you're going to and where certain things are and the layout and just how they are, because you don't want to be get stuck somewhere, or maybe you get done with a certain activity and you're kind of like, I wonder where exactly my hotel was. Was it off of the, because there can be, and you can always ask for help, and sometimes it cabs, but in certain cities and certain countries there can be mendicious locals who might want to take advantage of you and bring you somewhere where you don't really necessarily want to go. So, and of course, into that sense, make sure you look at your metro maps too. Most countries have better transportation than we do here, and so those can be a big help. So next would be your research phase. So after you kind of map out the general schedule and where you're going to go, then you start doing your research. Obviously the internet would be your biggest wealth of information. I like Wiki Travel and I like TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is nice because they have guides on there, there's ratings for hotels, people put articles, usually written a lot of times by locals, and then they also have even itineraries, so they'll say, 4 days in Paris or 2 days in London, and it kind of gives you suggestions on what you can do, which is kind of nice. I also, though, I like to buy or at least look at a book or two, just because sometimes TripAdvisor or the internet can be, there's just almost too much information and it's kind of scattered around, and if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, you might miss something or not find. So a book kind of puts it all in a nice, clean, straightforward thing, and might bring up little things that like I said, you might miss, like, what sort of, outlets that are going to have, or currency tricks, and, little spots here and there. So I think a book can be nice too. And then finally, family and friends are a good option, or who've been there, or if you have locals who know the area and actually have either lived there or currently live there, they obviously can be a huge wealth of knowledge, because they can be your own little personal tour guide if you're lucky enough, and that can kind of help knowing certain tricks and little spots that maybe the tourists wouldn't necessarily know of. So finally, you get to the booking, right? And so I like to book flights first, because it kind of brackets in then the rest of your travel time, and then you kind of work in from there. So you book your flight, to and from. Again, it goes without saying, but you book your flight to and from, and then you start to fill in your hotels. When you're looking at your hotels, make sure you look at things where you are in the city, how close you are to airports, or some of the sites that you want to see. Because sometimes airports at some big cities are kind of pretty far out. So if you book a hotel out here, but you really wanted to explore down here, you're going to have a long time getting to all the stuff that you wanted to see. So it's something to keep in mind, and that you'll know that from looking at all those maps back in step 1. So book your flights, book your hotels, and then finally fill in your activities in between, or and days for exploring and adventuring, things like that. So when you're booking your travel, mapping it out, doing your research, and then finally booking. These are the 3 kind of big steps that if you follow these, you'll have a lot better, less stressful time when you're traveling internationally. International travel, like I said, can be exciting, and it can be an adventure, but so you follow these steps, they can really help you have a less stressful and more enjoyable vacation. Thank you.